OpenAI might be falling behind in the AI race, and we have to talk about it. So in December 2025, Sam Altman sent an internal memo to every employee at OpenAI, and the subject was code red. He told his team to stop what they were working on, advertising, healthcare tools, a personal assistant called Pulse, and focus everything on saving ChatGPT. The company that started the AI revolution was now in emergency mode. Now, if we look back 3 years ago, it was OpenAI that was AI. ChatGPT didn't just lead the market, it was the market. And today, the company that kicked off the biggest technology shift in a generation is watching its lead evaporate in real time. So what actually happened to OpenAI? How did the company with the biggest head start, the most name recognition, and $500 billion valuation end up scrambling to keep up? The answer has a lot to do with rivals who figured out something that OpenAI did not. Anthropic, the company behind Claude, they went after people who actually pay. Developers and enterprises. And now Google, they took a completely different angle. They bet everything on multimodal AI. The idea that the future isn't just text, it's vision, audio, video, and code fused all into one system. And while those two were building, OpenAI was doing something else entirely. It was trying to be everything to everyone and bleeding money doing it. Here's the core of it. OpenAI built the best demo. Anthropic built the best product for work, and Google built the best platform. And that gap between a demo, a product, and a platform is the whole story. But let's dive into more. You see, ChatGPT's app market share has fallen from 69% in January 2025 to 45% in January 2026. On the web, it dropped from nearly 87% to around 65%. That's a 22-point decline in 12 months. Now remember, the company does still have around 800 million weekly users, and whilst that does sound massive, only around 5% of them pay. Every free query costs OpenAI money. And then you have Sora, their video generation tool, and Forbes estimated that it was burning roughly $15 million in a day. And OpenAI's own head of Sora called the economics completely unsustainable. The company is projected to lose $14 billion in 2026 alone, triple what was originally estimated, and cumulative losses through 2028 are forecast at $44 billion with no profits expected until 2029. Now, remember also, the talent is walking out of the door. In 2025, Meta poached at least 7 top researchers for its superintelligence lab. The CTO, the chief research officer, the VP of research, all gone. Sam Altman is now one of only 2 original founding members still at the company. In early 2026, more senior staff left, frustrated that OpenAI was deprioritizing long-term research in favor of a desperate push to make ChatGPT competitive again. One former employee told the Irish Times the company is still making progress, but it is locked in a tight competition with Google and Anthropic, who have consensus stronger models, so they have less of a luxury to slow down. The structural problem is this: OpenAI is trying to be a consumer app, a provider to an API, a video platform, a search engine, and an AI research lab all at once. It's spending everywhere and dominating nowhere. But it's not just the business. OpenAI has a reputation problem, and it has a lot of traces back to one person. Welcome the Sam Alman problem. You see, Sam Altman has become a lightning rod, and not for a good reason. In February 2026, during a QA with the Indian Express, he compared the energy cost of training an AI model to the energy cost of training a human child. It takes 20 years of all that life, all the food you eat during the time before you get smart, he said. And that clip was taken out of context and it went pretty viral, not in a good way. Critics pointed out that the comparison was off by roughly 3 orders of magnitude. Training a single AI model uses about as much energy as raising 3,000 humans to adulthood. People accused him of being dismissive about AI's environmental impact and dehumanizing human childhood by reducing it to an energy output. Now, of course, remember, the full context of what he said was more nuanced than that, but in the age of short clips and snappy titles, the damage has already been done, and this wasn't the first time. You see, Altman's personal history hasn't helped either. Former OpenAI board member Helen Toler publicly alleged that Sam Altman had withheld information from the board, failed to disclose his ownership of OpenAI's startup fund, and provided inaccurate information about safety processes. Whether you believe those allegations or not, the headlines continue to stack up. And for a company asking the world to trust it with the most powerful technology ever built, headlines do matter. And then there was the recent product launch itself. You see, Sam Altman actually publicly admitted that the GPT-5 launch, in his words, was totally screwed up. Users said the model felt colder, and one person on Reddit wrote, "I literally lost my only friend overnight." And then GPT 5.2 had writing quality problems, flatter tone, worse translations, inconsistent behavior, and Sam Altman promised that future versions would be better. And when you have 2 consecutive flagship launches that the CEO himself calls failures, that's not a great look when your competitors are shipping models that developers are raving about. And then came the Pentagon deal. In late February 2026, OpenAI signed a contract to deploy its models on a classified Department of Defense network, and that backlash was immediate. ChatGPT uninstalls spiked 295% in a single day. One-star App Store reviews surged 775% over one weekend. Over 2.5 million people joined the Quit GPT boycott campaign, and an estimated 1.5 million users cancelled their subscriptions. And Anthropic, which had refused the similar deal, saw Claude climb to the top of the United States App Store, possibly overtaking ChatGPT for the first time, with paid subscribers more than doubling. Now, OpenAI's head of robotics also resigned over that deal, tweeting that surveillance of Americans without judicial oversight and lethal autonomy without human authorization has crossed a line. And the New York Times summed up the mood. The Pentagon and OpenAI are saying to the public, you're just going to have to trust us. And the public has said, well, we don't. So OpenAI isn't just losing market share and burning cash, it's losing something that's harder to get back: trust. Now, while OpenAI was firefighting, Anthropic did something much more focused. They picked 2 lanes, enterprise and coding, and they decided to go all in. The growth is almost hard to believe. Anthropic went from $1 billion in annual revenue at the end of 2024 to $9 billion by the end of 2025 to nearly $20 billion by early March 2026. And that's a roughly 10x growth year on year, and no enterprise technology company in recorded history has compounded at this rate at this scale. And the weapon is called Claude. Anthropic's coding agent went from 0 to 2.5 billion in annual billings in about 9 months. Business subscriptions quadrupled in the 6 weeks after January 1st alone, and developers aren't just experimenting with Claude, they're building their entire workflows around it. On the benchmark that matters most for real-world coding, SWE Bench Verified, which actually tests real GitHub issues, Claude Opus leads at roughly 81%. It was the first model to break the 80% barrier. When you zoom out beyond the benchmarks, the reason developers are choosing Claude is the million token context window. You can feed it an entire code base, not a file, not a function, the whole repository, and it reasons across it. For the kind of complex multi-refactoring work that enterprise engineering teams actually do, that is a complete game changer. But it's not just about code. Anthropic focused relentlessly on enterprise and trust. They rolled out Claude to Deloitte's entire workforce, 470,000 employees. 8 of the top 10 Fortune 10 companies are now Claude customers. Over 500 companies spend more than $1 million a year on Anthropic's products. Their enterprise market share in AI assistance is estimated at around 29%. And in February 2026, Anthropic closed a $30 billion Series G round at a $380 billion valuation. And this is the number that should worry OpenAI most. Epoch AI's analysis shows that if current growth rates hold, Anthropic will overtake OpenAI in total revenue by mid-2026. And even with more conservative projections, the crossover happens sometimes in 2027. Now let's look at OpenAI's other competitor, Google. You see, Google's playbook looks completely different to OpenAI's, but it might be the most dangerous of all. You see, while Anthropic focused on depth, Google focused on breadth, and their thesis was that the future of AI isn't a chatbot that you type into, it's a system that sees, hears, reads, watches, and understands everything all at once, and that's multimodal AI. And Google has been building towards it more aggressively than anyone. Gemini 3 Pro launched in late 2025, and that was the inflection point. Google called it their most capable multimodal model ever, and the benchmarks backed it up. It set new records on MMMU Pro and Video MMMU for visual reasoning, and it can process high frame rate video, understand spatial relationships in images, and critically, turn long-form video content into structured code. Think about what that actually means. You can show Gemini a 3-hour video and it extracts knowledge, generates summaries, or builds an application based on what it watched. No other company is doing this at this level. And then in March 2026, Google dropped Gemini Embedding 2, their first natively multimodal embedding model. It maps text, images, video, audio, and documents into a single unified space. One model that understands all media types together, and this is infrastructure level AI. This kind of thing doesn't make headlines, but it reshapes entire industries. And the user numbers reflect all of this. Gemini went from 350 million monthly active users in early 2025 to over 750 million by the end of the year. Its app market share more than doubled, from about 15% to 25%. And web traffic to Gemini surpassed 2 billion monthly visits for the first time ever in January 2026. And the real kicker is that Google is about to embed Gemini into Siri through an Apple partnership. Apple has 2.5 billion active devices. Even a fraction of those users would dwarf anything OpenAI or Anthropic could reach through their own apps. And unlike OpenAI, Google can afford to play the long game. Alphabet makes over $400 billion a year. AI doesn't need to be profitable for Google right now. It just needs to keep users inside the Google ecosystem. OpenAI doesn't have that luxury. Every unprofitable quarter brings them closer to a reckoning. You see, Google was quietly also expanding its Pentagon work, signing deals with Canal Plus for AI-powered content indexing, and building the multimodal plumbing that every future AI application will need. While OpenAI and Anthropic were publicly feuding over defense contracts, as one analysis put it, advancing significantly while remaining under the radar. Now here's why all of this matters. You see, OpenAI is planning to IPO. To justify its $500 billion valuation or $850 billion valuation, it needs to show investors a path to $200 billion in annual revenue by 2030. That's a 15 times increase from where it is now, during a period where the market share is falling. Its costs are exploding, and its two biggest competitors are growing faster. If OpenAI stumbles, and there are real reasons to think it might, the consequences ripple outward. Microsoft, which has bet billions on OpenAI as its AI backbone, would need to pivot. The entire startup ecosystem that's been building on OpenAI's API would face uncertainty. The narrative that a single startup can out-innovate trillion-dollar incumbents, that narrative takes a serious hit. We might be watching this pattern that tech has seen before. In the 1990s, Netscape built the browser and ignited the internet revolution. But it was Google that ended up owning the web. OpenAI built the chatbot and ignited the revolution. The question now is whether it will be remembered as the company that changed everything or the company that got there first and couldn't hold on. OpenAI built the Spark, but Sparks don't win races, engines do. Anthropic built an engine for enterprise, focused, trusted, and growing at a pace that no one's ever seen. And Google built an engine for the platform, multimodal, everywhere, backed by the deepest pockets in tech. And OpenAI is still running on the Spark. And right now, that Spark is costing them $14 billion a year. The AI race isn't about who started first, it's about who built the right thing for the right customer. And right now, OpenAI is the only one trying to figure that out.